Gyu Xinyu, for the first time in her life, was watching a movie alone with a boy, and that boy happened to be the one she liked. This subtle atmosphere made it nearly impossible for her to focus on the movie. She kept sneaking glances at Fang Jueyu with the corner of her eye. His perfectly chiseled profile, courtesy of genetic optimization, was downright lethal to a girl's heart. The sofa was almost 5 or 6 meters wide, yet they sat so closely together they could even catch whiffs of each other's scents. If only time could freeze at this moment, maybe that wouldn't be so bad. Gyu Xinyu's lips curled into a slight smile. In the dim light, the young couple harbored their own little thoughts. It seemed that this was what youth truly felt like. Gradually, Fang Jueyu managed to pull his attention away from Gyu Xinyu and became engrossed in the movie. Suddenly, Gyu Xinyu's head rested directly on his shoulder. In that moment, Fang Jueyu's body turned as stiff as if it was under a spell. Thump, thump. His heart had never raced this intensely before. It was also the first time he realized what it meant to have a mind go blank. He didn't even dare to move an inch, as if any movement might cost him something precious. Your heart is beating so fast. Even though it was just the two of them there, Gyu Xinyu spoke in a voice only they could hear. I'm nervous, Fang Jueyu stuttered at a loss for words. He didn't expect Gyu Xinyu to be bolder than him. This palpable excitement was something he'd never felt before, both delightful and pure. Gyu Xinyu gave a cute smile. Despite Fang Jueyu's wealth, which could draw countless girls to him, his reaction showed he lacked much experience in love. The rapid heartbeat was something he couldn't fake or hide. Is my head too heavy? No, how heavy can one head be? Fang Jueyu couldn't feel her head's weight because his own head was buzzing loudly, and he felt almost numb. Should I put my arm around her? Fang Jueyu awkwardly found his arm trapped between their bodies. He wanted to pull it out, but feared his movement would upset Gyu Xinyu. Host, are you an idiot? She's made it so obvious. Do you want her to make the first move? Zio chastised Fang Jueyu in his head. You're so disappointing. Fine, I'll hug her. Do you think I won't dare? Stealing his nerve, Fang Jueyu pulled out his right arm and draped it over Gyu Xinyu's shoulder. He felt her body tremble slightly and heard her heart pounding like a galloping deer. The soft sensation from his palm sparked some misguided thoughts and impulses in Fang Jueyu. Gradually, they refocused on the movie, maintaining their pose for almost an hour, neither daring to move first, as if any movement would shatter the beautiful atmosphere. As the movie drew to an end, the storyline became more emotionally stirring. Accompanied by romantic background music, the movie's main characters were passionately kissing. In such an atmosphere, some couples in the theater couldn't help but embrace one another. In the last row's couple seating, several young pairs were locked in kisses, but of course, Fang Jueyu and Gyu Xinyu couldn't see them. Their cheeks felt a bit warm, and in this ambience, it was impossible not to have some romantic thoughts. Fang Jueyu suddenly came up with a bold idea. He wanted to do something. He turned his head and saw Gyu Xinyu's bright, large eyes gazing at him, her eyelashes trembling slightly, and a deep affection in her eyes. This scene made Fang Jueyu's throat dry. He slowly leaned toward Gyu Xinyu, and at that moment both of their breaths quickened, and they instinctively closed their eyes. With the romantic atmosphere, sweet background music, they could only feel each other's intense breath. Gyu Xinyu felt an arm gently wrap around her waist, while another hand softly caressed her hair. The tense, stiff body relaxed, surrendering control to her heart. After what seemed an eternity, their lips parted, and Gyu Xinyu lowered her head, her cheeks blushing scarlet. The last time she had secretly kissed Fang Jueyu, it was her first kiss with a boy, but this time. Suddenly, she felt her hand being tightly grasped. Fang Jueyu looked at her with a serious expression. Xinyu, would you be with me? Fang Jueyu spoke nervously, his words faltering. It seemed he had never handled such matters with composure. Gyu Xinyu quietly responded, her voice as soft as a mosquito's hum. Under the dim light, they saw each other's faces flush with shyness and happiness, and then they kissed again. The movie ended, and only after everyone else had left did they emerge from the theater holding hands. Their hearts were already in mutual understanding, with only the need for a formal gesture. When Fang Jueyu spoke up, everything naturally fell into place. From now on, the Kixi Festival every year will be our anniversary, Fang Jueyu said. I mentioned earlier about getting you a gift and you said it wasn't fitting. Will you accept my gift now? Gyu Xinyu shyly nodded, but you can't spend recklessly. Haha, don't worry. Even if we had endless generations, I would never run out of money. As if, who wants endless generations with you? Gogh Xinyu playfully smacked his shoulder with a laugh. Fang Jueyu glanced at Gogh Xinyu, noticing something missing around her snowy white neck. "Let's go check out the accessories store downstairs," Fang Jueyu said, taking her down. Baida Plaza mainly consisted of middle to high-end shops. The store they walked into was a jewelry shop, a brand he'd heard of before, renowned for a century, offering both modern jewelry and traditional pieces. "I wonder if this store is mine," Fang Jueyu mumbled. "Sorry, host, but this is one of the few stores not part of your business empire. You finally get a chance to spend money." "Yes, I'd like to see some necklaces," Fang Jueyu nodded. "What price range are you considering?" The service staff glanced at Fang Juyu's outfit. Although it bore no brand, she could tell from its style and fabric that it wasn't some bargain item. "The price doesn't matter, as long as my girlfriend likes it." On hearing this, the sales associates' eyes lit up. They loved customers who prioritized preference over price. The jewelry here ranged from a few thousand to millions. Selling a high-ticket item would be quite a commission. "This way, please. Let me recommend this piece. It's the latest work of our senior designer, a platinum necklace with a 1-carat diamond and ruby accents. Your girlfriend will love it." Fang Jueyu glanced at the price tag, 270,000. For everyday people, it was an absolute luxury. "Xinyu, do you like it?" Fang Jueyu asked. Seeing the price, Gogh Xinyu's brows furrowed. She knew Fang Jueyu was wealthy, but spending hundreds of thousands on a necklace was something she couldn't do. Besides, she didn't particularly like the necklace. One look at Gogh Xinyu's expression, and Fang Jueyu knew her answer. He surveyed the necklaces on the counter, none of which caught his eye. Suddenly, his gaze landed on a necklace in the store's display case. At first sight, he knew this necklace was perfect for Gogh Xinyu, and she'd absolutely love it. This was an exceedingly simple diamond necklace, the kind that didn't need to be paired with a formal dress to reveal its distinctive luxury. Instead, it had a warm appeal that made it suitable even for ordinary occasions. The most unforgettable aspect was the pendant composed of an angel wing-shaped blue gemstone and a heart-shaped red gemstone, sculpted with a craftsmanship akin to divine artistry. This necklace could truly be called the store's crowning treasure. Fang Jueyu noticed the flash of awe in Gogh Xinyu's eyes when she saw the necklace. Although she quickly suppressed it, his keen eyes captured the moment. "Do you like it?" Gogh Xinyu shook her head. It was clear from the first glance that this necklace was worth a fortune. She didn't want Fang Jueyu to spend so much money to buy it. "Gogh Xinyu, you're a terrible liar." Fang Jueyu playfully tapped her nose. "Is this necklace for sale?" Fang Jueyu asked directly. "I'm sorry, sir, this is the treasure of our store and is not for sale. You may look at other necklaces. We have some similar pendant styles." "Please call your manager for me." Fang Jueyu took out a VIP card once more. He knew that some decisions in the store couldn't be made by the employees, but perhaps the manager could request permission from higher up. This was meant to be the first Valentine's gift for Gogh Xinyu, and he was determined to muster all his power to buy it. If all else failed, he was even willing to purchase this store or the entire group behind it. Seeing the card, the employees knew this matter was beyond their control, and they quickly called the manager. It so happened that on this special day, the manager was nearby. Soon, a man in his 30s rushed over. His apparent role was the store manager, but only a few people knew that he was one of the candidates to inherit Hong's jewelry. Hong's jewelry was an old store that had existed for over 100 years. The whole family was in the jewelry business, choosing the best candidate from each generation as an heir. The selection method naturally depended on ability, and performance was the best measure of ability. This generation of the Hong family had 6 outstanding young members, each assigned to manage a store. The year's performance would serve as their final assessment. To prevent vicious competition, none of the candidates were allowed to use personal connections. They could only think of ways to maximize their store's profits through management strategies or other means. Hong's jewelry focused on high-end pieces, so most items were expensive and were hard to sell. The relatively lower-end pieces couldn't bring substantial earnings. Hong Yang's current situation was dire. Most of the year had passed, yet his performance ranked 4th. His cousin, Hong Yu, had sold several necklaces valued at millions and even tens of millions in the first half of the year. His revenue was at least double Hong Yang's, creating a gap of tens of millions or even over 100 million. Each store had a crowning treasure meant to attract customers, and in principle, those treasures weren't for sale. Losing such a piece meant losing the store's most eye-catching attraction, naturally reducing revenue. So when Hong Yang heard of someone wanting to buy their store's crowning treasure, he rushed over. Firstly, he wanted to see who dared to make such a bold offer. Secondly, if the person truly had the financial means to buy it, they might be worth befriending. Although the family prohibited the use of personal relationships, clients met during business dealings didn't count. "Sir, our manager has arrived." An employee pointed at the sharply dressed man hurrying through the door. "Manager, this gentleman wants to purchase our crowning treasure." "Got it, you may tend to your work. I'll handle this customer," Hong Yang instructed. "Hello, are you the manager of this store? My girlfriend really likes this necklace, so I'd like to know if there's any way to purchase it," Fang Jueyu asked directly. "Sir, if I may, let me introduce the necklace first." Hong Yang was in no rush to close a deal. Fang Jueyu nodded. He was indeed interested in the details of this necklace. This diamond necklace is called Angel's Heart. The pendant features two 13.5-carat blue diamonds and a 20.6-carat red diamond crafted together using a fusion technique, making it nearly seamless. Angel's Heart, what a lovely name, Fang Jueyu nodded. He had initially thought they were rubies and sapphires, but to his surprise, they were rare colored diamonds, making the price likely astronomical. He recalled that the pendant of the necklace, dubbed the Heart of the Ocean, was more than a 40-carat blue diamond, a virtual national treasure. And of course, the griffin diamond statue on his sun god was priceless. While Angel's Heart wasn't quite the same, it was still an absolute gem. The necklace contains 208 diamonds, designed by an international master. Once completed, it was placed in Hong Group's headquarters, valued at $38 million. So expensive, Gogh couldn't help exclaiming at the price. It was astronomical. "It's too expensive. Let's look at something else." Gogh tugged on Fang Jueyu's sleeve, trying to pull him away. "It's all right as long as you like it. The price isn't too steep." Fang Jueyu patted Gog's head. "I could earn back this amount of money in moments." Fang Jueyu glanced at his liquid assets. Since the task began a month ago, the $500 billion balance had become $503.2 billion. He honestly wished the necklace had a couple more zeros on its price tag. To Hong Yang's ears, this was thunderous. Someone actually claimed $38 million was nothing, even earning it back in moments. Did this young man think he was the world's richest? "Manager, may I have your name?" "To be honest, my surname is Hong, and this Hong's jewelry is my family's enterprise," Hong Yang candidly replied. "That's great, so you should have the authority, right? I'll take the necklace. Name your price," Fang Jueyu said with grandiosity. "Sir, I'm afraid that's not very convenient. This Angel's Heart is our store's most valuable piece, meant to attract customers. If you were to buy it, we'd likely lose a lot of business," Hong Yang smiled wryly. "How about this? Let me put it another way. What conditions would manager Hong need to sell me the Angel's Heart?" "My surname is Fang." "Mr. Fang, to be honest, the Angel's Heart isn't unsellable. It's just that I need it to bring revenue to this store." Hong Yang opened up. Fang Jueyu had shown a prestigious VIP card from Plaza Square, so there was no questioning his financial capability. To certain individuals, some things weren't off-limits to discuss. Hong Yang explained his family's situation to Fang Jueyu. "I'm really sorry, but the Angel's Heart can't be sold to you now. If you're truly interested, you can check back with me at the end of the year. By then, the Angel's Heart wouldn't bear such importance," Hong Yang explained. "I see." Fang Jueyu understood what Hong Yang meant, and found the internal selection process of these big families genuinely unique. Suddenly, Fang Jueyu had a lightbulb moment. He might just put some of his money to good use this time. "Mr. Hong, are you saying this Angel's Heart is not entirely unavailable, but rather you need it to gain more benefits to stand out in the family competition?" "Mr. Fang can understand it that way," Hong Yang nodded. "So if you can ensure you outperform the other candidates in sales, would you be willing to sell it directly to me?" "What does Mr. Fang mean by this?" Hong Yang sensed a hidden meaning in Fang Jueyu's words. "What I mean is, I'm willing to buy out all the jewelry in this store, hoping manager Hong would sell me this Angel's Heart." "Buy out everything?" Hong Yang nearly spat out a mouthful of blood. He wanted to ask Fang Jueyu if he knew how much everything in the store would cost combined. It would require more financial power than 10 such Angel's Hearts, which was completely unwarranted. "Exactly, buy everything out. Eventually, these things have to be sold. Selling them to someone else or me makes no difference, and it saves a lot of trouble. Isn't this killing two birds with one stone? If Fang Jueyu indeed came up with such a sum, Hong Yang would absolutely agree 100 times over. Selling all the jewelry in the store would yield him more sales than all his 5 siblings combined, securing him the position of the next generation heir beyond any doubt. Mr. Fang, you aren't joking. You should know, in our store we have at least 100 pieces of jewelry worth millions of dollars each in stock, and more than 10 pieces worth tens of millions, not to mention other smaller items. This isn't a small number. I'm certainly not joking, Fang Jueyu smiled. Today is the first Kixi festival with my girlfriend, and I want to give her a very special gift. As for how much it costs, that is not my concern. I just want her to be happy. Fang Jueyu, what are you doing? Didn't I say it wasn't necessary? Women love jewelry, and Gogh Xinyu was no exception. She had to admit that she fell in love with this angel's heart at first sight, but liking something didn't mean she had to own it. Fang Juyu's words made her happy enough, but this necklace was too expensive, and Juyu even talked about buying out the entire store, which was just too wasteful. It's okay. I'll transfer the other jewelry to my other stores under my name for sale, no waste. Fang Juyu had only one goal, to buy this angel's heart. Even if you buy it, I won't wear it, Gogh Xinyu said stubbornly. If you refuse to wear it, I'll buy it and throw it right into Westlake, Fang Juyu joked. Sometimes he was even more stubborn than most people. Xinyu, I know you want to save me money and not spend much, but honestly, tens of millions of US dollars are like ordinary people's tens of bucks to me. What I care about more is if you like this gift. Xinyu still wanted to say something, but Juyu put a finger on her lips. You'll have to live with me for a long time. You have to get used to it slowly, understood? Looking into Juyu's eyes, Xinyu seemed to have been convinced and nodded unconsciously. That's more like it, Juyu finally smiled. Manager Hong, go ahead and calculate the price, I'll pay right away. Not only Hong Yang but even the counter assistants eavesdropping on the side were dumbfounded. These were gold, silver, diamonds, and jewels, not $20 a pound of pork at the market. Even at a market, no one had ever heard of someone shopping like this, right? Mr. Fang, do you only want all the items on display, or also include those in the warehouse? Include them all. I wonder if this would be enough to help Manager Hong become this year's sales champion. So, Mr. Hong, would you be willing to sell me the angel's heart? Sell, as per the estimated price of 38 million US dollars, Mr. Fang. How does that sound? At that moment, Hong Yang almost saw Juyu as a savior, understanding well how fiercely competitive it was in such a business family. Failing to become the leader would only lead to suppression. Juyu's actions almost secured his status as the next heir of Hong's jewelry. Manager, should we really count everything? A counter assistant inquired. Count it, Hong Yang nodded. Just then, another man and woman walked into the store. The man was not new to Hong's jewelry. The quality of jewelry here was very high, and the staff provided excellent service. Usually, as soon as a customer came in, someone would immediately come to assist. But strangely today, these staff were all burying their heads in notepads and computers, not paying him any attention. Ahem, the man coughed, finally catching the attention of a counter assistant who hurried over apologetically. Sorry, sir, we're no longer selling anything here. What, not selling anymore? The man was surprised. Weren't all the items neatly displayed in the counter? Hong's jewelry was an old brand, why wouldn't they be making money? Why? Did something happen to the store? Sorry, sir, every jewel in this branch, including the warehouse, has been bought by that gentleman over there. If you want to buy, I'm afraid you'll have to go to another branch. Bought out? What a joke. The man clearly didn't believe it. Hey bro, you're looking to buy jewelry, Juyu greeted him. Buddy, is it true? Have you really bought everything? Yeah, but if you want to buy something, you can choose anything other than this one. Juyu pointed at the angel's heart on display. Take anything else, consider it a gift from me. Damn bro, you serious? Serious? Juyu replied categorically. All right, I'll have a look first, ha, said the man as he wandered around. He had already taken a liking to a necklace but wanted to see how a young guy could afford to buy out an entire jewelry store. If true, it would definitely make headlines. Manager, including the stock, there are $105 million level high-end items and 14 tens of millions of dollars level items, totaling about 4.57 billion. As for the smaller, lower-end items, it might take a bit more time. Well, I'll just skip the low-end ones, just these. I think the remaining low-end items shouldn't significantly affect Manager Hong's final sales. In that case, since Mr. Fang is so straightforward, I'll also make a decision. Including this angel's heart, the total is 700 million. How about that? Hong Yang decisively knocked off several million from the total. No problem, please give me an account. Hong Yang handed over an account number to Juyu. He called Zhuang Ying, as his black card was only for everyday expenses and didn't carry such a large amount. Zhuang Ying didn't ask why Juyu needed such a hefty sum. Her job was simply to help Juyu spend and make money, just that. Where it went was not her concern. 5 minutes later, Hong Yang's phone rang, showing that his company account had directly increased by 700 million in cash. Juyu had indeed paid the entire 700 million in one go. Bro, I'm convinced. Seeing this, the man gave a thumbs up while his female companion looked at Xinyu with intense envy. Manager Hong, can you have those things delivered directly to Villa Number 1 at Jiangnan Manor? You have a delivery service, right? Don't worry, Mr. Fang. I'll arrange for security to escort the delivery. These items will definitely arrive safely at your residence, Hong Yang promised, patting his chest. These were jewels worth billions. Hiring a few armored trucks wouldn't be an exaggeration. Can we take this angel's heart with us now? Fang Jueyu asked. Of course, you can take it right away, Hong Yang said, now considering Fang Jueyu his lucky charm. He could already imagine the expressions on the faces of his competitors when they heard this news. Buddy, is it okay if I take this one? The middle-aged man from earlier had already chosen a necklace. He wasn't exploiting the situation. He just picked a platinum necklace worth over 20,000, which was nothing compared to the 6 billion. It was barely even a fraction. I keep my word. The man's actions earned Fang Jueyu's favor. Manager Hong, this necklace isn't included in the package, but, Ha, no problem at all. Consider this necklace as a gift to Mr. Fang. You're welcome to do with it as you please. A mere 20,000 was nothing to Hong Yang. Thank you, Manager Hong. Fang Jueyu could hardly wait to see Guo Xinyu wearing that necklace. The store staff cautiously unlocked the security case, donned fresh gloves, and presented the necklace. Let me put it on for you, Fang Jueyu said. Okay, Guo Xinyu nodded gently. It wasn't just that the necklace was priceless. Even if it were an ordinary silver necklace, she'd be happy because Fang Jueyu gave it to her. Just as Fang Jueyu imagined, Guo Xinyu was the perfect model for this necklace. Her fair neck and beautiful collarbone made her look like a noble princess under the necklace's adornment. Do you like it? He asked softly. I do, but it's a bit heavy. Guo Xinyu had never worn something so valuable, and now she truly grasped the weight of several dozen carats. Ha. Watching Guo Xinyu's adorable expression, Fang Jueyu couldn't help but laugh. If you think it's too heavy, you can wear it after you marry me. Okay, Guo Xinyu whispered softly, then shyly buried her head in Fang Jueyu's chest. Mr. Fang, how about I treat you to dinner tonight? Hong Yang was in an exceptionally good mood. Although Fang Jueyu was young, his wealth was astonishing. Befriending him might be a great advantage when he inherits his family's business. Some other time, Fang Jueyu refused outright. He was out on a date with Guo Xinyu, and they had just confirmed their relationship. He hadn't even had the chance to do anything romantic yet. He certainly didn't want to waste time dining with another man. Oh, ha. I'm sorry I was presumptuous. Ha. Realizing his invitation was ill-timed, Hong Yang laughed awkwardly. I'll treat you another day then, and these items will be delivered to your residence by tomorrow afternoon at the latest. Thanks. Fang Jueyu thanked him, and then left Hong's jewelry with Guo Xinyu, not caring about the 4 billion plus worth of jewelry. It's strange, when did Jiangnan City get such a young tycoon? Hong Yang was puzzled. Hong's jewelry was a big enterprise in Jiangnan City, and he knew most of the wealthy people there. He couldn't recall anyone with the surname Fang. Manager, he seems to be that Dean Fang from Weibo recently. An employee handed him a phone with a photo taken in Shanghai of Fang Jueyu and Guo Xinyu. So it is him, no wonder. Hong Yang had some connections with Wang Kong who had mentioned this person. He was curious how rich someone who could make Wang Kong concede could be. Now he knew. Manager this store. Most things have been sold, so why keep it open? Close the store, give everyone 3 months paid leave, and when I take over Hong's jewelry, you guys will be in charge of this store. Hearing Hong Yang's words, all the employees lit up with surprise. Today might just be their lucky day. One person's success can uplift everyone around them. Fang Jueyu and Guo Xinyu, fingers intertwined, left Bader Plaza. Even though they had shared more intimate moments earlier in the theater, both could still feel the nervous sweat on each other's palms. Next time, don't spend money so recklessly, Gogh Xinyu pouted. How can that be reckless spending? Fang Jueyu said earnestly. As long as you're happy, I don't mind spending more. No way, what if the money runs out? Then I'll become a kept man, waiting for you, a rich star to take care of me. Ha ha ha. Really? Once the new company address is set in a few days, we'll get started. All the paperwork for Xinyu Media was ready, and he had left the equipment handling to Zhuang Ying, which should be settled soon. I'll sing it perfectly. This was the first song Fang Jueyu wrote for her, and she was determined to record a version she was proud of. Suddenly, Gogh Xinyu's face changed. Oh no, lost track of time. What's wrong? Fang Jueyu asked. Our school curfew is at 10:30, and it's almost 11 now. Gogh Xinyu glanced at her phone, already showing several missed calls from her roommates, who had been joking in their group chat about calling the police. Are you there? What are you doing? Are you busy? Xinyu, are you surrendering tonight? Xinyu, I'm ready to call the police. If you're being forced, say something. Opening a few voice messages, her roommates' teasing voices came through. Fang Jueyu couldn't help but laugh. Apparently, not only do boys' dorms make such jokes, but girls seem to as well. So what now? Fang Jueyu figured Gogh Shu and the others were probably asleep now, and going home seemed inappropriate. Why don't you stay at my place tonight? Fang Jueyu suggested. Huh? Gogh Xinyu's face flushed red. Although they were now officially a couple and didn't need to avoid certain things, staying over at Fang Jueyu's on their first day together seemed a bit too soon. Don't worry, my place is very spacious, Fang Jueyu joked. Unless you're afraid I might be naughty at night, ha ha ha. Who's afraid of you? Bring it on. Gogh Xinyu playfully punched the air. If you try anything, I'll punch you in the head, HMPH. This is where you live. Although Gogh Xinyu had tried her best to imagine Fang Jueyu's home, she found she had still underestimated the level of luxury. Yeah, but living here all alone is really too empty, just missing a lady of the house, Fang Jueyu said shamelessly. How come I never noticed you were such a smooth talker before? Gogh Xinyu made a funny face. In your dreams, I'm just staying here one night. Tomorrow, I'm heading back to the dorm. Gogh Xinyu anticipated that she'd definitely face intense interrogation from her roommates tomorrow. Hungry? Want to eat something? My chefs are on standby 24/7. No thanks, I've already eaten a lot tonight. Eating too much isn't good for the stomach. Haha, you're quite the health enthusiast, Fang Jueyu laughed. You do have quite the taste, with so many oil paintings at home, said Gogh Xinyu, whose parents were also well-educated and had given her some education since childhood. These artworks are pretty well imitated. They really have the essence of the original authors. That's where you're wrong. No fakes hang in my house. These are all the genuine works by those famous masters. Impossible. No matter how wealthy you are, these things are considered national treasures by those European countries. They're not that easy to acquire, Gogh Xinyu said as she wandered in the living room, and as a piano major, her eyes inevitably fell on Chopin's piano. This piano has been around for quite a few years, hasn't it? Gogh Xinyu touched the keyboard, finding no dust, showing the place was well maintained. It was a gift from my ancestor to Chopin. After Chopin passed away, the piano was shipped back to Huaxia, Fang Jueyu said, pointing to the engraved words on the side. Is this real? Although she couldn't authenticate the handwriting, the piano's history seemed highly likely to be true. I don't even know what your family does. It seems like there's more to you than just wealth. You won't believe it if I tell you, but I'm the emperor of this planet. Almost everything with a known name belongs to me, including you. Fang Jueyu boldly wrapped his arm around Gogh Xinyu's waist, becoming much bolder in his own home. I knew it. You definitely had some ulterior motive for inviting me here tonight. Gogh Xinyu's face turned bright red, unable to meet his gaze. Whether it was due to his body being enhanced or not, Fang Jueyu's self-control used to be much better. But if you dare to do anything reckless, I'll definitely punch you. Gogh Xinyu adjusted her slightly disheveled clothes, almost losing control just now. Deep down, Gogh Xinyu was a very traditional person. She'd been excellent throughout her life, with many suitors, but before college, she focused solely on her studies, and after that, she was occupied with family matters. Fang Jueyu was the first person she truly liked. Once she decided on someone, she wouldn't change her mind, unless Fang Jueyu abandoned her. Otherwise, she'd be willing to stick by his side for life. However, some things she just wasn't ready for. If he really tries something tonight, should I refuse him or? Gyu Xinyu was caught in a dilemma. All right, go take a bath. It's not time for me to devour you yet. Fang Jueyu habitually ruffled Gyu Xinyu's hair. I've had clothes prepared for you, tailored to your size. The bathroom is on the second floor, right next to my room. You'll sleep in the room on the other side tonight. After speaking, Fang Jueyu willingly walked away. There was also a bathroom on the third floor, where he planned to enjoy a nice bath. Watching Fang Jueyu's retreating figure, Gyu Xinyu felt touched. If he truly wanted her, she wouldn't have refused, but Fang Jueyu chose to respect her, willing to wait until she was ready. Nowadays, not many men were like that. Oh, he's really making things hard for himself. The moment Fang Jueyu walked upstairs, his manner of walking changed, the reason for which, well, his fellow men would understand. Host, you chose to be less than an animal instead of being an animal. Zio Yi timely chimed in. What do you know? I'm nothing like my scumbag dad, Fang Jueyu declared righteously. Tonight, even if I suffocate or fall down from here, I swear not to touch her. I'll choose to be less than an animal tonight. After a cold shower, Fang Jueyu finally calmed down. Being with his girlfriend in a room and doing nothing was really hard on the body. He returned to his room. The bathroom light was still on, and he could hear the water dripping. Girls sure take a long time in the shower. Host, I think you should just jump in now. Shut up. Are you an intelligent system or a rogue system? Fang Jueyu snapped, as Zio Yi's remarks grew crasser by the day. Back in his room, Fang Jueyu turned on his computer, noticing his Weibo follower count was nearly 20 million. However, his level 1 privilege task completion was only at 30%, truly a long way to go. Today I'm giving away 1,000 red envelopes, with each person getting 10,000. Don't ask why, I'm just rich and willful. Giving away prizes every few days had almost become a routine task for Fang Jueyu. Haha, I've been waiting a long time. I've calculated the director's giveaway timings, and this time I'm sure to win. Director, don't think you can shut us up with red envelopes. Fess up, is Miss Xinyu already yours? We haven't seen her live stream for ages. I go by Jiangnan Fanwei. I heard someone saw the director's son God at the Beta Square today, leaving with a mysterious woman. I suspect that woman is Miss Xinyu. Is the info upstairs true? Upstairs is doubling the nonsense. Clearly, he's my husband. Darn, they're everywhere. Fang Jueyu hadn't expected his evening movements to actually be discovered. Click, just when Fang Jueyu was about to sleep, his door suddenly opened. Fresh from her bath, Gyu Xinyu was in a pair of casual shorts, her legs snow-white and slender, her top a loose t-shirt that didn't hide her shapely figure at all. Her hair wasn't fully dry yet, and this sight made Fang Jueyu gulp. This is tempting me to commit a crime. Such a sight made Fang Jueyu a bit parched. Your place is too big. It's a little scary being alone. Can I sleep here with you? Gyu Xinyu asked, head down, avoiding eye contact. Oh my gosh, Fang Jueyu almost cried. I said I wouldn't eat you today, but you don't have to act so fearless. HMPH, I don't care. Gyu Xinyu ran over and lay down next to Fang Jueyu. I'm sleeping here tonight. Gyu Xinyu turned her back to Fang Jueyu, revealing a sly smile. This girl is testing me. Fang Jueyu was smart, immediately seeing through Gyu Xinyu's little scheme. Click, Fang Jueyu turned off the light, and the room was filled with silence, only their breathing and heartbeat audible. Gyu Xinyu felt an arm wrap around her waist, providing a sense of security and warmth. She hadn't mistaken him. To Fang Jueyu, this was indeed a huge test. He didn't even know how many times he recited the Heart Sutra in his mind before he finally fell asleep. Gyu Xinyu also only fell asleep after hearing Fang Jueyu's calm and even breathing. With the first rays of morning light, Fang Jueyu opened his eyes and suddenly felt something in his hand. He quickly let go. When did his sleep posture become so poor? Luckily, Gyu Xinyu hadn't woken up yet. Otherwise, Fang Jueyu would definitely have had a fresh red slap mark on his face. I feel like my body has been emptied. Fang Jueyu sighed. He could control his body and thoughts but could not stop his natural reactions. A whole night in sage mode was indeed a bit hard to endure. What is that? Gyu Xinyu, gradually waking, suddenly felt something poking into her back. She quickly realized what it was and instantly snapped out of her sleepy state. You, pervert! Gyu Xinyu quickly grabbed the blanket and wrapped herself tightly. You've already slept together. What's all this talk about being a pervert? Fang Jueyu muttered softly. You were the one afraid of the dark and insisted on sleeping here with me last night. How did I become the pervert? Fang Jueyu shamelessly said, completely forgetting what he did when he woke up. I don't care. You are a stinking pervert. Looking at Fang Jueyu's embarrassed look, Guo Xinyu couldn't help but feel inexplicably happy. I didn't do anything all night. I'm less than a beast and now you're calling me a pervert. It's too hard for me, Fang Jueyu said, feigning grievance. Mua, Guo Xinyu swiftly kissed him on the cheek. It's a reward for your excellent behavior last night. Just that little bit, Fang Jueyu said, unsatisfied. He had endured a whole night. No way, I need to collect more interest. Fang Jueyu quickly pulled Guo Xinyu into his arms, intending to start the morning with a deep kiss. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Just then, the sound of a phone suddenly rang, and the two immediately snapped back to their senses like startled fawns. That's my phone. Guo Xinyu pointed to her phone by her pillow. Fang Jueyu had a look of disbelief. The call didn't come early or late, but just right at this very moment. If he found out who it was, he would have torn them to pieces. Guo Xinyu, where the hell were you last night? You didn't reply to the group messages or answer your phone. We almost called the police. A slightly fierce female voice came from the phone. We finished the movie too late last night and the school was locked down, so we couldn't go back. Guo Xinyu sneaked a glance at Fang Jueyu, who was sulking, and then patted his somewhat matted hair. Then where did you go last night? Did you guys stay in a hotel? Guo Xinyu, can you use your brain? It's easy to be deceived. Come on, did he do anything to you last night? Oh stop, what are you talking about? We didn't stay outside. Phew, that's good. Xiaoling heaved a sigh of relief. I stayed at his place last night. What? You were at his house? Guo Xinyu's latter words made Xiaoling explode. Wasn't this like walking into a lion's den? With Guo Xinyu's personality, wouldn't she have been eaten up entirely? Don't worry, we didn't do anything last night. He respects me a lot, Guo Xinyu explained. He just called me a pervert, Fang Jueyu muttered discontentedly. That's good. Guo Xinyu's words were convincing. She wouldn't lie. How about this next time, bring your boyfriend and let's have a meal together so the girls can check him out. No need for next time. How about tonight? Fang Jueyu moved right next to Guo Xinyu and said. Oh my Xinyu, he's there with you. Why yeah, Guo Xinyu rolled her eyes at Fang Jueyu. What are you doing? What's the matter? Everyone will meet eventually anyway. Tonight, I'll bribe your roommates early on so they'll give us more opportunities in the future. Haha Xinyu, your boyfriend knows how to play the game. It's said that when a girl is in love, she can support a whole dorm, and when she's having a hard time in love, she needs the entire dorm's help. Sisters are there to sell out. Promise to return her to you in one piece, Fang Jueyu laughed. Why did you so readily agree? Guo Xinyu pouted. Don't you know my roommates can eat a lot and they could make you poor? What's up? We've only been together for a day and you're already thinking about saving me money. Fang Jueyu teased, brushing against her nose. Stop it, if you keep brushing my nose will collapse, Guo Xinyu feigned anger. My roommates aren't easy to fool, they'll definitely give you a hard time. Not likely, even your parents didn't make life hard for me. Fang Jueyu said, oh right, I should find a time to officially visit Uncle Guo and them. As for Guo Xinyu's roommates, Fang Jueyu really didn't see a big issue. Having a nice meal, giving some gifts, wouldn't they be happy to sell out for glory? Thank you. Guo Xinyu leaned into Fang Jueyu's chest voluntarily. The warmth made her feel at ease. No thank yous between us. Fang Jueyu suddenly revealed a sly smile. But how are you going to compensate me for what happened just now? Guo Xinyu looked puzzled. Heh heh. Fang Jueyu once again pounced on her, and the room instantly turned into a scene of romance. In the end, Fang Jueyu still didn't manage to do anything. To calm down, he could only head to the bathroom for a refreshing cold shower. Xiaoyi, why haven't I completed my mission yet? Didn't you say that getting Xinyu counts as completing the mission? Where's my reward? Fang Jueyu suddenly recalled this matter. Master, it's not considered complete yet. You two have to do that for the task to be officially completed. What? Fang Jueyu was so close to cursing. He had already gotten Guo Xinyu, and now there was a condition added. This intelligent system must be a rogue system. Manners, this can't be blamed on me. This was your father's decision. Until you obtain level 1 permission, the previous owner's orders always have priority. All right, Fang Hua, you win this time, Fang Jueyu said viciously. It seemed the road ahead was still long. Achoo! On a planet tens of thousands of light years from Earth, Fang Hua sneezed suddenly. What happened? Cao Lian asked. Nothing, probably my son is missing me, Fang Hua replied. Our parents' trace disappeared on this planet. There must be something nearby. Let's search more thoroughly. Young master, may I come in? The two had just finished freshening up when Zhuang Ying called. Normally, she would just open the door and enter Fang Jueyu's villa, but since Guo Xinyu spent the night here, she worried about interrupting their morning exercise. Come in, it's fine. Fang Jueyu, of course, didn't know what Zhuang Ying was thinking. He had long gotten used to her managing his daily life like a mother. Miss Guo, Zhuang Ying nodded at Guo Xinyu. She was to be the future mistress. Last time in the Magic City, she had scolded Fang Jueyu in frustration, but this time it seemed he had wised up and actually brought Guo Xinyu home. Xinyu, this is my assistant, Zhuang Ying, Fang Jueyu introduced. Personal assistant. Guo Xinyu felt a bit uncomfortable. No one would be pleased with another woman constantly clinging to their boyfriend. A woman understands a woman's mind best, and Zhuang Ying immediately saw what Guo Xinyu was thinking. Miss Guo, don't worry. The Zhuang family has served the Fang family for 3 generations. The young master has absolutely no interest in me, and there's no need for you to be on guard, Zhuang Ying said with a smile. Having her thoughts exposed, Guo Xinyu felt a bit embarrassed. By the way, young master, the batch of goods you ordered yesterday has arrived. The car is parked at the villa entrance. Zhuang Ying got to the main point. Hong Yang was extremely efficient. By 10 a.m., the delivery truck had arrived at Jiangnan Gardens, accompanied by 3 security vehicles in a formation similar to bank vault transport. Young master, why did you buy so much jewelry? Although Zhuang Ying paid for the goods, she still didn't understand why Fang Jueyu needed them. If he wanted jewelry, his own brand had even higher-end pieces and unique collectibles. To put it bluntly, even Zhuang Ying wasn't impressed with those items. Nothing much, gave Xinyu a gift yesterday and happened to make a friend in the jewelry business. Fang Jueyu didn't elaborate further, just put them up for sale in my jewelry stores, or have them redesigned as you see fit. All right, leave it to me, Zhuang Ying nodded. By the way, Xinyu, how many roommates do you have? Fang Jueyu asked. 3. Why? No reason, just that it's the first time I'm inviting your roommates for dinner. It's not good to go empty-handed. Fang Jueyu turned to Zhuang Ying again. Sister Ying, set aside 3 versatile and suitable ones for me. Is that necessary? Guo Xinyu remembered that just yesterday, there were several necklaces worth millions or even tens of millions. Even for inviting roommates to dinner, such expensive gifts weren't needed, right? Of course, I must make a good impression on your roommates. This essential bribery is needed so I don't lose face in front of them. People are vain, it's human nature. Every girl wants a boyfriend that others envy. The better Fang Jueyu performed, the more face Guo Xinyu had with her roommates. With 3 more people, taking the sun god wouldn't be appropriate. Just recently, the cars Fang Jueyu ordered had all arrived, and the sun god could be sent back for maintenance. Don't you have a slightly more ordinary car? Guo Xinyu looked at the garage, which resembled a car show, realizing for the first time Fang Jueyu hadn't been exaggerating when he said a few million felt like a few dozen bucks to him. Fang Jueyu looked around. Aside from a Wuling Hongguang, no car in his garage cost less than 3 million, but he couldn't possibly take that car, could he? In the end, Fang Jueyu took a 5-seater Bentley. While still a car worth millions, it was more understated than those sports cars and quite spacious. At Jiangnan Music Academy's gate, 3 girls eagerly waited. Their dorm was one of the few without conflicts. Wu Zioling, the eldest, cared for the 3 like a big sister. They were a bit worried when Guo Xinyu hadn't returned last night. However, today's phone call revealed Fang Jueyu's voice. From his tone and manner, he seemed trustworthy, but if he wanted to take away their beloved Guo Xinyu, he had to pass their test first. Ladies, today we must really check Xinyu's guy out. If he doesn't pass, we'll boot him on the spot, Wu Zioling declared boldly. Xinyu's had it tough, no more jerk boyfriends. Yeah, let's rate him on looks, physique, family background, and character. To match our Xinyu, every aspect must be top-notch, Zhou Jing added. Right, we won't be won over by just one meal, the youngest, Long Wei, asserted with a righteous face. While they were fervently chatting, a shiny Bentley pulled over nearby, catching them off guard. It's me. The car window rolled down, revealing Guo Xinyu waving to them. Following the voice, they saw Guo Xinyu in the front passenger seat with a very young and handsome guy beside her. Oh my God, the 3 girls exclaimed in unison. They guessed Guo Xinyu's boyfriend would be handsome and well-off, but he exceeded their expectations by at least 2 levels. Xinyu asked them to get in, Fang Jueyu said softly. What are you standing there for? Get in the car, Gogh Xinyu laughed. Only then did Zioling and the others react, albeit a bit gingerly. They'd never been in such a nice car before. If they knew this was one of the cheaper ones from Fang Jueyu's collection, who knows how they'd react. Where to for dinner? Thought of it. Fang Jueyu turned to them. Consider this my treat to meet everyone. In the future, if Xinyu and I ever argue, I'll rely on your support. You're that Fang Jueyu. Xinyu's roommates finally recognized him. Yes, it's me. Wow, Xinyu. 3 pairs of eyes locked onto Gogh Xinyu. No wonder you kept it from us, sneaking around all this time. They knew one of Gogh Xinyu's followers was a rich tycoon and had been photographed at China Joy. When questioned, Gogh Xinyu had flatly denied everything. The girls' initial restraint vanished. Though not celebrities themselves, Fang Jueyu's fame was no less than that of some stars, especially since his wealth made even Principal Wang pale in comparison. No way, Xinyu, we worried about you all night. We can't resolve this with just a simple meal. Yeah, with Dean Fang's wealth, he better treat us to something good. Gogh Xinyu had texted them earlier to go easy and not extort Fang Jueyu too harshly. But with this revelation, the girls dropped all pretenses of thriftiness. You guys, Gogh Xinyu winked and glared, full of warning. But her threats were ineffective as the girls chatted and joked. Under the lure of delicious food, their morning promise was forgotten, perhaps the famed plastic sisterhood. The car drove into Wanlong Square, a few kilometers outside the school. This place was popular among nearby students. Although the expenses were high, most students couldn't afford it, but sometimes just coming to window shop was a fun thing to do. Most of the food at Wanlong Square was fairly priced, with an average cost of about 100 per person. But on the top floor, there was a French restaurant where the average price exceeded 500. They had wanted to come many times but never dared to go in. This time, they were lucky to have Fang Jueyu with them. Order whatever you want, don't be shy. Fang Jueyu handed the menu directly to them. The cost of this restaurant was indeed not cheap, but still far less than what he usually spent on a meal. Although everyone said they would take advantage of Fang Jueyu, when it came time to order, each of them was surprisingly reserved, looking like little girls who would be full after just a bite. What are you all pretending for? Gogh Xinyu couldn't help but laugh at their antics. They often ate together, and even the shortest among them, Long Wei, was a big eater who could finish a huge hamburger in 5 bites and not take a 6th bite. Yet here she was, only ordering a fruit salad and a watermelon juice. It's not like I have long-term plans. I can't let you, the future wealthy lady, look down on us, Long Wei said, pretending to look aggrieved. Exactly, you haven't even gotten married yet and you're already ditching friends for a guy. Xinyu, we really misjudged you, Zhou Jing said, looking heartbroken. All right, Xinyu is just joking with you. Order whatever you want. Fang Jueyu quickly tried to smooth things over. But Fang Jueyu's words didn't seem to work. The 3 of them looked at Gogh Xinyu for confirmation, as if asking if they could really eat to their heart's content. In the end, Gogh Xinyu couldn't resist the gazes and reluctantly nodded. Yay, Xinyu, I love you to death. Wu Zioling almost wanted to give Gogh Xinyu a big kiss. I want this volcano steak, deep-sea butterfly prawns, French red wine braised chicken chops, and this black forest. Order it all. I also want that Mexican spicy chicken breast and a matcha forest. Were you all hungry ghosts in a past life? Gogh Xinyu regretted her decision a little as she watched Fang Jueyu's dumbfounded expression. She wished she could just bury herself underground. It was too embarrassing. Xinyu, what's that saying? You eat the meat and we sisters sip the soup. What's wrong with that? You got yourself a big shot like Dean Fang. It's not too much to let us have some benefits, is it? Besides, we don't eat like this every day. Zhou Jing defended herself. Gogh Xinyu wasn't worried about the money. It was just that their behavior was somewhat embarrassing. Yeah, we worried about you all night last night, so what's wrong with rewarding ourselves with some food today? Long Wei chimed in. By the way, handsome Fang, the 3 suddenly ignited with gossip flames. Our Xinyu never dated before, but her suitors can line up from the school gate to the South Lake. Trust fund kids driving sports cars are a dime a dozen. So how did you win her over? Well, it's personal charm, haha. Fang Jueyu shamelessly laughed. Hiss. Fang Jueyu felt a hand pinch the flesh on his waist, and he bared his teeth in pain. Well, you know, outstanding people attract each other. There's no winning over or not winning over, right, Xinyu? Fang Jueyu forced a smile as he looked at Gogh Xinyu, wondering how these girls could be so fierce after getting into relationships. Oh right, I haven't formally introduced you. Gogh Xinyu suddenly remembered what she forgot. This is our dorm leader Wu Zioling, a vocal major, also a local from Jiangnan City, and she usually takes good care of the three of us. Hello, Wu Zioling extended her hand generously. This is Zhou Jing, a violin major from Yanjing. This is Long Wei, we're even in the same major in class. Hello, I'm Fang Jueyu from Heihua City, currently a student at Jiangnan University, entering my senior year. Fang Jueyu introduced himself voluntarily. I'm not very good at talking or coaxing girls, so if I ever make Xinyu angry, I'll have to trouble you all. Haha, no problem, no problem. Just for today's meal alone, our Xinyu is sold to you. Though everyone was joking, the three girls noticed that no matter the time, Fang Jueyu always had his eyes softly lingering on Gogh Xinyu, which showed he was serious about her. Today, it was a last-minute decision to eat together, so I didn't have time to prepare any gifts. Consider this your meeting gift. Fang Jueyu took out 3 small boxes from his pocket. Fang Jueyu, you're too kind. No need to prepare gifts. The 3 girls said this but smiled and accepted them. Just for this gift, I'll tell you a secret. Long Wei beckoned Fang Jueyu with her finger. Xinyu and I bathed together. Don't look at her slim figure. Why Wei, you're asking for a beating. Gogh Xinyu's face flushed with embarrassment, and she pretended to go after her. Heh, I thought it was a real secret, Fang Jueyu muttered to himself. This is too valuable. We can't accept it. Zhou Jing opened the small box and immediately gasped in surprise. She initially thought it was just some small jewelry or trinkets, but when the box was opened, the diamond's brilliance made her hand tremble slightly. The price tag was still on it, and the long string of zeros left her dizzy. The diamond necklace was priced at 570,000. What the heck, since when did rich people take friends of their girlfriends out to eat and start giving diamond necklaces? And for tens of thousands worth. Initially, Zhuang Ying prepared necklaces worth millions, but Fang Jueyu thought that such expensive items might leave a bad impression, so he switched to relatively cheaper ones. But even the cheaper ones cost hundreds of thousands. Go ahead and accept them. I have many diamond mines in Africa, so these diamond necklaces mean nothing to me. I should be thanking you for taking care of Xinyu over the years. Diamond mines. Hearing this, the 3 girls almost fainted. There were many rumors online about Fang Jueyu. Some said he was a director of an automobile group, others said he was an illegitimate son of a tycoon, while some claimed he was the son of an official. But no one ever said he had mines in Africa, let alone many diamond mines. Are you really giving these to us? They felt like they were dreaming. It was so wonderful, a bit unreal. Gogh Xinyu had really found herself a diamond bachelor. The 3 of them were practically ultimate Su Lun fangirls. They had scrimped and saved for months to look forward to seeing Su Lun's concert, yet they hadn't managed to get tickets. This news was even more explosive than the 3 necklaces. You wouldn't happen to know Su Lun, would you? Wu Zioling asked. Sort of. A few days ago when I went to Sanya, he even caught a ride on my private jet. Xinyu, you must have saved the galaxy in your previous life. They were already numb to Fang Jueyu's wealth. I might have saved the whole universe. Gogh Xinyu affectionately looked at Fang Jueyu, as the hands under the table secretly held each other. Rich guy, do you have any brothers or sisters? Introduce one to us. Yes. Old Fang, I'm sorry, I couldn't secure this piece of land. After sending Gogh Xinyu and the others back, Fang Jueyu received some disappointing news. Recently, there was a land bidding near Shandong. This area was quite large. It was originally a wasteland. Because the local government wanted to develop it, a lot of the land had been gradually leased out. After some investigation, although it was a bit small relative to their construction plans, the surrounding area also seemed to have development intentions in the future, so starting with local construction wasn't a bad idea. Many real estate developers participated in this bidding, but it was eventually auctioned to a company that needed to build an industrial town. Wang Kong also returned empty-handed, and the issue of site selection was delayed repeatedly, making him feel somewhat guilty about Fang Jueyu's investment. No problem, I'll think of a way too. This isn't something that can be rushed, Fang Jueyu consoled. No way, the special effects team I hired only signed a 2-year contract. If this drags on, they might pack up and leave. What are you afraid of? At worst, just buy them outright. He was prepared to buy such a large piece of land. Could he be troubled by a mere special effects team? Even if taken a step back, If he used the knowledge recorded in Zioya's database, the special effects they could create wouldn't even compare. Oh, this is really a big problem, Fang Jueyu sighed. Although Huaxia had vast lands, there was only so much available, even with money. He couldn't conjure a place out of thin air, could he? Master, if places with people are hard to build on, why not build in places without people? Zio, you seem to have an idea. Build in the Antarctic or Arctic. Fang Juyu's mind didn't process this immediately, only thinking of these two places. Are you stupid? Zio, you was already used to cursing a bit. Land on your Earth only takes up a small part of the surface. Oceans, deserts, these uninhabited areas, aren't they endless? Not to mention anything else. If you build this film city in the desert, the state would probably give you full support. Is it that easy? Fang Juyu had thought of it too. If built in the desert, even the Tagore Desert could be used off the shelf, almost reducing the workload of the first phase by 1/3. The desert has unstable foundations and lacks water resources. It's difficult for a person to survive a few days here, let alone build a film city. Dream on. Are you looking down on me? Zio, you was not satisfied. The civilization that created me is so advanced that you earthlings can't even fathom it. Isn't desert land salinization a problem? If you can't solve it, maybe I can. You have the technology. Of course, whether it's something you can think of or not, as long as you want it, I have it, Zioyi said with utmost confidence. I have a gene modification technology for a type of plant. Once planted in the desert, these plants can take root quickly. Their root systems can extend deep into the earth to draw underground water, and while surviving, they can also solidify the land. If you can cultivate this plant within a year, you could create a fully functional area in the desert. That's incredible. And the technology on your Earth can achieve this now. Several countries have made some progress, but to truly develop this plant, maybe it would take 10 more years. Is anyone in our country doing similar research? Fang Juyu knew that this technology couldn't just appear out of nowhere. If he wanted to use it to create land in the desert, he'd need a medium, at least to make the technology reasonably available. Of course, but not many, and most are progressing very slowly. Zioyi browsed all the documents in an instant. The best work is probably from a project group at your Jiangnan University, led by a Professor Qi Dong. They're stuck on issues with the plant's activity and growth cycle after genetic modification. You can negotiate terms with them using this technology. And this technology, Fang Juyu chuckled humbly. Call me Dad. In your dreams. Then forget about it. Dad. Good boy. Half an hour later, Fang Juyu rubbed his temples, finally digesting some of the knowledge he had just gained. To comprehend fully, Zioyi even infused a lot of foundational biology and genetics knowledge into his brain. At least in these two areas, he could now be considered an expert among experts. Zioyi, will it always hurt so much when loading knowledge into my brain? Fang Juyu looked a bit weary, feeling as if he hadn't slept for 3 days and nights, filled with pain and fatigue. That's because your brain development is still too weak, unable to instantly process and handle such a massive flow of information. If it were your dad, a few seconds would be enough. Zioyi explained, so you should quickly complete the authorization task. Nevertheless, your technology is truly amazing, extending new blank segments from the fundamental biological gene chains, artificially adding new base pairs for gene modification. This method is unheard of. Fang Juyu couldn't help but marvel at the superior technology Zioyi taught him. These are just minor tricks. Plant modification is the most basic. If you want, human modification isn't a problem either. This technology has matured in our civilization, and even if you want wormhole technology, it's no issue. Just don't use earthling logic to gauge my capabilities. Though Zioyi's attitude was supremely arrogant, it was undeniable that Earth's technology paled compared to their civilization. With this, things will be much easier. Even though school hadn't started yet for half a month, most university graduates still didn't get vacation. Professor Qi Dong was also a well-known professor at Jiangnan University. Before he graduated with a PhD at 28, he had published 8 papers as the first author in the journal Nature, and was directly hired as a distinguished professor upon returning to Jiangnan University. Professor Qi Dong was now 65 years old and had achieved the title of academician. His project group has always been devoted to conquering this biological gene technology to combat Huaxia's increasingly severe desertification problem. However, the difficulty of this technology was quite high. He had been researching this field for 10 years, and though making significant progress, faced many critical technical challenges. As usual, Professor Dong was in his office, reviewing the latest international journal progress on this subject. However, his peers were almost all at the same level as he was, and his team's advancements already held a leading position in the academic community. Even though he had long reached retirement age, out of dedication to scientific research, he was rehired by the university to continue his work. However, his health no longer supported such high-intensity research work, so he feared he might not see the day when this technology matures. Suddenly, his email notified him of a new message. He paid little attention, thinking it might be from a student who needed his approval to use the school's equipment, a common occurrence several times a day. But when he opened the email, it wasn't from the school's equipment reservation platform. Instead, it was a simple personal email, yet the email's domain belonged to Jiangnan University. The email contained only one attachment. He opened it to find a genetic model diagram that appeared to be of a biological entity, with extensive notes beside it. This, as an academic heavyweight, he glanced at it and immediately gleaned a wealth of information. Instantly, he dialed his PhD student's number. Kaofan, Liu Yang, quickly gather all your junior and senior peers in my office for a model analysis. There's been a major discovery. Dong's National Key Bioengineering Laboratory was brightly lit the whole night. Everyone in their project group knew they had hit a bottleneck in this research for far too long. Previously, although genetically modified plants acquired the ability to stabilize soil, their vitality was greatly diminished, the growth cycle slowed, and the rate of desert soil formation was extremely slow. Moreover, each batch of plants could only be used for 5 to 10 years. However, through simulations, they found that after adding this base sequence arrangement, the plant's growth cycle even sped up by twice, and their vitality significantly enhanced, making large-scale application entirely feasible. The only thing missing was actual experimentation. But the person who sent him this email was very protective of their achievement, not sharing the gene modification method. Having spent a lifetime in research and finally seeing a glimmer of hope, Dong's heart was like a cat's paw being scratched. He was well aware that this person would definitely contact him. The other party must have investigated him enough to know he was engaged in this line of research, possibly preparing some terms or proposing collaboration. Sure enough, by the afternoon of the next day, Dong's private phone rang. With Little Ye's help, all of Fang Jueyu's accounts and information were completely masked, preventing Dong from seeing any details about this person. "Hello, Professor Qi. Did you see the email I sent you yesterday?" Fang Jueyu inquired politely. The other party had devoted most of their life to the national scientific research cause, a person worthy of respect. So young, Dong was a bit surprised. He had originally thought the caller would be someone around his age, but this voice was younger than anticipated. "I received it, and I've already run simulations. This gene sequence fully optimizes our previous plan without affecting the original traits of the plants. It's absolutely perfect." Dong's excitement had not yet subsided. But is this modification method truly feasible? To my knowledge, no institution in the world has proposed such an approach. Of course, I've already realized this biogene modification technology, and the technology is in my hands. Dong was so excited that he was slightly out of character. This concept was truly bold, and the fact that the other party claimed to have achieved it meant it could already be ready for formal experimental stages. "Professor Qi, I called you to discuss matters of collaboration." Fang Jueyu candidly revealed his true intention. Collaboration? Dong was somewhat taken aback. Given that this technology was already mature, it could be used to apply for various patents or even sold to the state. Without mentioning other accolades, this biomodification technology alone was enough to be nominated for a Nobel Prize in biology. "How about this, Professor Qi? Do you have any time today? I'd like to visit you." Yes, Dong readily agreed. He was eager to meet the person who researched this. Whether or not they collaborated was a small matter. He just wanted to take this chance to learn from the other party. There's no age in academia, only a difference in knowledge levels. If the other person was more advanced than him, he would be more than willing to humbly learn. "I live in Villa number 8 at the Academy compound at the intersection of Zulin Street number 3. The school isn't a suitable place for us to discuss this matter. If it's inconvenient for you, I can arrange for someone to pick you up." Dong knew that this kind of matter required some confidentiality measures. "No need, I'll come over myself. I live on campus, it's very close. What? You're from Jiangnan University? Qi was slightly shocked. They were the largest bioengineering lab at Jiangnan University. Was this the result achieved by some other project group? It wasn't that he looked down on other groups, but their group's research capabilities were far ahead. If they couldn't accomplish it, it was even less likely that others could. Yes, Professor Qi, you don't have to be so polite with me. I'm just a student, such an address really isn't necessary, Fang Jueyu joked. So can I come by this afternoon? A student? This shocked Qi even more. Had he been researching since he was in his mother's womb? All right, I'll head home now and wait for you to come. Qi immediately began packing his stuff. His students had been with him for several years. Regardless of the occasion, this major boss was always as steady as a mountain, even delivering calm reports at international exchange conferences. This kind of hurried demeanor was a first. Taofan, the lab is on break today. Everyone go out and have a day of fun. Don't stay cooped up in the lab every day, Qi instructed before quickly leaving. The doctorate and graduate students in the project group exchanged puzzled looks. The Qi of before was not like this. The closer he got to retirement, the more he held a firm grip on research work. They usually didn't even have holidays. Could it be that there's been a significant breakthrough in the project? The academy campus was a residential area affiliated with Jiangnan University. Those who lived here were mostly professors and scholars. Many bosses spent a high price to purchase houses here, just to provide a good growing environment for their offspring. The real estate here was truly precious. In this community, perhaps any elderly man or woman strolling by the garden was a scholar with a professor title or even a Yangtze River scholar-like prestige. Security measures in the neighborhood were extremely rigorous. There were many academician-level figures living here, national treasures without a doubt. Some genuine military personnel even long-term stationed here. Since he was a student at Jiangnan University, Fang Jueyu easily passed through the layers of security checks. The guards probably assumed he was a student of some teacher here. Stop, you can't enter just like that. Qi residence was quite extraordinary. These national-level high-profile talents were highly regarded. At the villa's entrance, a small post was set up, and 2 armed soldiers stood guard permanently. I have an appointment with Professor Qi. Could you please confirm? Seeing the black hole of the gun barrel made Fang Jueyu shiver involuntarily. The 2 guards exchanged glances. Just earlier, when Professor Qi rushed back, he did mention an important guest was visiting today, but this young man didn't quite match the type of important guest they'd expect. Hold on, I'll go ask. To be cautious, one soldier went inside. Within a few minutes, an elderly man, somewhat gaunt and wearing slippers, ran out of the villa. Though he appeared terribly thin, he was running faster than the soldier. He glanced around by the gate for a moment, and finally, his eyes landed on Fang Jueyu. Are you? Yes, Professor Qi, it's me. Fang Jueyu nodded with a smile. The related research results hadn't been published yet. Normally, once such results were produced, they would be published in top journals immediately, which means this outcome was likely a recent breakthrough. Was that thing from yesterday your personal research? Qi tentatively asked. More or less, Fang Jueyu nodded. Gee, it's remarkable to have such academic abilities at such a young age. Who is your mentor? Qi was filled with curiosity about the mentor behind Fang Jueyu. Could they have been trained by a former Nobel Prize winner? He remembered Jiangnan University had some international exchange programs, so maybe this young man was a joint education product with some foreign university. I don't have a mentor, I just enjoy biology, so my family set up a lab for me to play in. Qi expression froze immediately. Although he was an old professor, he wasn't old-fashioned, but this was something he was hearing for the first time. Just because someone liked biology, their family built them a lab to play in. If one liked space, did that mean they should get a spaceship built? What kind of rich people's operation was this? Playing around. Did you know that the results of your casual endeavors are things that most people can't achieve in a lifetime? Qi warmly welcomed Fang Jueyu into his home, hurriedly asking his wife to brew a pot of tea that they only bring out for important guests. However, Fang Jueyu didn't understand much about tea tasting. To him, it hardly tasted different from plain water. So, what's your name, classmate? Oh, I'm Fang Jueyu. He realized he'd forgotten to introduce himself. I'm a junior at Jiangnan University School of Information. You can just call me Fang. Studying computer science. Qi was even more surprised now. How did a computer science student get involved in biology and genetics? But those weren't the important things. The key was understanding how Fang Jueyu managed to graft those gene segments into the original DNA of plants without causing the existing genes to collapse. The two of them chatted for a bit. Although they only touched on some basic topics, Qi Dong discovered from their conversation that Fang Jueyu had a solid academic foundation. Some of his fresh perspectives even challenged Qi Dong's existing views. Fang, may I take a look at your genetic grafting method first? Qi Dong had suppressed his curiosity for a long time. If you're worried, you can record a video of the whole process, or even make me sign a confidentiality agreement. Professor Qi, there's no need. I trust your integrity. Had he not trusted Qi Dong, he wouldn't have approached him. Fang Jueyu had brought his computer with all the organized materials. Qi Dong's hand slightly trembled as he held the mouse. He put on his glasses, fully focused, scribbling on a piece of paper as if verifying something. Many methods used in the process were new, and Fang Jueyu explained them in detail. If there had been any doubts, Qi Dong was almost certain now that perhaps Fang Jueyu indeed achieved this result. If he had stolen it, he couldn't understand it so thoroughly. The more he looked, the more shocked he became. Although Fang Jueyu's methods were novel, they were completely doable in a laboratory. They were just ideas no one had thought of, and his approach was exceptionally bold. Such academic research capabilities were truly impressive. He spent more than 2 hours reviewing the material. Fang Jueyu, who was explaining, was also parched, and the pot of tea had long been emptied. But Qi Dong didn't mind because the information on the computer was what mattered most. "Hugh, this is incredible." Qi Dong finally finished reviewing all the materials. Although some results still needed verification, he was 90% sure that almost everything was feasible. Fang Jueyu had really solved this academic problem. He set the mouse down and looked at Fang Jueyu, examining him with a gaze as if he were a monster. "Fang, pardon my bluntness, but your accomplishment could lead to many high-level papers in academia. If the part about genetic modification is verified, it could be a significant breakthrough. Even a Nobel Prize is not out of the question. Why did you come to me?" "Professor Qi, if a brand new result suddenly appeared in academia, and it was achieved by a 20-year-old not even in the field, what would you think?" Fang Jueyu countered. "Well, I definitely think he's a monster," Qi Dong blurted out instinctively, but quickly realized that might not be appropriate. "Ha ha ha, see, even you think so," Fang Jueyu laughed. "That's why it wouldn't be appropriate for me to release this result." Then what on earth?" "I hope this achievement can be published through your research group," Fang Jueyu feigned a compassionate demeanor. "You know, the Earth's environment is deteriorating, with desertification becoming severe. I hope it can be put to reasonable use soon." "No, how can that be?" Qi Dong understood Fang Jueyu's implication. He wanted to give away this breakthrough directly. If it were someone chasing fame and fortune, they might agree, no matter how excessive Fang Jueyu's requests. But Qi Dong's academic ethics would not allow it. "Professor Qi, don't refuse just yet. Why not hear my purpose first?" Qi Dong's refusal didn't surprise him. It made him respect him even more. "All right, let's hear it then." Qi Dong was actually quite interested in what it was that made Fang Jueyu willing to forgo the achievement. "Here's the thing. My friend and I are planning to invest in building a film city which requires a large piece of land. But you know, getting approval for such a large area isn't easy, so we're looking towards desert areas." Fang Jueyu slowly explained his idea. "Hold on," Qi Dong was bewildered. "Wasn't this about academia? How did it shift to building a film city? I'm struggling to keep up. Are you saying you cultivated this organism just to restore desert land and build a film city on it?" "Ha ha ha," Qi Dong burst out laughing. "You're quite an interesting young man. So you approached me hoping I'd help publish this achievement, then apply to the government for experimental land. Once the experiment's done, you just start building." Qi Dong was a shrewd person who quickly understood all of Fang Jueyu's thoughts. The young man's mindset was amusingly unconventional. "Based on your thoughts, if you want to build a film city on the moon, you'd first modify its atmospheric environment," Qi Dong joked. "But this is actually a good thing. It was odd, but it could benefit humanity. You don't need to do this. I can help you contact the authorities. If you contribute this technology, I'm sure the government would be willing to support your plan with special policies." Really? Fang Jueyu didn't expect Professor Qi to be willing to help him. "Of course, seeing this technology emerge has already cured my long-standing unease," Qi Dong said cheerfully. "However, The inventor of this achievement is indeed a problem. I can give you a suggestion. Go ahead. You could publish the achievement in the name of the university, but keep all the benefits for yourself. Wouldn't that be the best of both worlds? Right, how did I not think of that? Fang Jueyu slapped his thigh, acknowledging the wisdom of age. So it's the university benefiting from your achievement. It should be. The alma mater nurtured me for so many years. It's time I give back, Fang Jueyu said earnestly. All right, I will help you contact the authorities in the coming days. I'll notify you when the time comes. You can also prepare your conditions and I'll report them together. That'll make discussions smoother. Thank you, Professor Qi. Fang Jueyu expressed his sincere gratitude. Zhuang Ying, how does this outfit look on me? It doesn't work, makes you look a bit skinny. How about this one? Isn't it too formal? This one, is it too casual? Early in the morning, Fang Jueyu anxiously played the outfit-changing game in front of the mirror. Guo Xinyu had already informed her parents about her relationship with Fang Jueyu. Today, they invited him over to their home to formally thank him for looking after their family. Even though it wasn't the first time meeting them, and they lived in a place he had bought, it was the first formal meeting with the parents. It was different from before, and Fang Jueyu seemed particularly concerned. Young master, you've already tried on 32 outfits. Zhuang Ying glanced at the mountain of clothes on the sofa, feeling a bit of a headache. Normally decisive and easygoing, he was now tangled up with this kind of situation. It's the first formal visit. I want to make a good impression, right? Fang Jueyu said as he changed into yet another outfit. I think Guo Xinyu's parents already like you very much. You just need to show your sincerity. There's no need to overemphasize the attire, Zhuang Ying said, pulling out a casual outfit from the pile. I think this one's quite good, mature and sunny. Really? Fang Jueyu took it with some doubt. These clothes were all custom-made from a private factory that tailored exclusively for him. Normally they looked great, but today, everything felt off. It's fine, really. Just keep an eye on the time and don't keep Miss Guo waiting too long. Zhuang Ying pointed to the large clock in the living room. Why didn't you say so earlier? Fang Jueyu looked at the time. It was almost 9:40. He had agreed to meet Guo Xinyu at 10:00, and it took half an hour to drive to Jiangnan Music Academy. In a rush, he threw on the clothes. Is everything ready? Don't worry, everything was delivered fresh this morning. It's already in the trunk of your Bentley, along with the wine you asked for, Zhuang Ying said calmly. Great, thanks for your help, Zhuang Ying. I'm heading out. Fang Jueyu grabbed his keys and rushed out. PFFFT. As soon as Fang Jueyu left, Zhuang Ying couldn't help but laugh out loud. Isn't this a bit over the top? Guo Xinyu asked from the passenger seat. Despite her repeated warnings yesterday, Jueyu seemed to ignore her entirely, bringing so many things. The trunk was almost full, packed with seafood, wine, supplements, and even 2 500-year-old ginseng roots. Supposedly, they were freshly dug from a ginseng plantation established 1,200 years ago in Changbai Mountain by his family. Additionally, he prepared some toys for Guo Junyu. After all, he needed to win over his future brother-in-law. He remembered Guo Junyu once telling him he wanted to be an astronaut when he grew up, so Jueyu got him a pricey telescope. Not at all. This is my first time visiting your home. I've got to be well prepared. What do you mean, my home? The place we're staying in is yours, Guo Xinyu said. Oh, by the way, my dad started collaborating with his old friends again for business. Once things get better, they plan to move out. Why move out? Isn't it nice there? It's not about that. My parents are quite proud and don't want to live under someone else's roof, Guo Xinyu said, understanding her own stubbornness too well. There's no your or mine when we're family, Fang Jueyu said. I'll have a talk with them about it later. When they arrived at the neighborhood, Guo Shu and Yao Yefeng were already waiting downstairs. Upon hearing that Guo Xinyu and Fang Jueyu were together, their hearts were mixed with happiness and worry. While pleased that Xinyu found a reliable partner, they were also concerned about Fang Jueyu's excessive wealth, which somehow made them feel less secure, although it had nothing to do with his character. Why did you bring so much stuff? Yao Yefeng welcomed Fang Jueyu warmly, even more than her own daughter, making Guo Xinyu roll her eyes. Guo Shu, on the other hand, watched them with a cheery smile. It's what I should do. It's my first time formally visiting. It wouldn't be right to come empty-handed, Fang Jueyu said, carrying a large bag of items as he energetically made his way up the stairs. Where's Xiaoyu? Why isn't he back yet? Fang Jueyu asked curiously. He's still in school. He should be back soon, Gogh replied. Gogh Junyu studied at a private school with a different educational system, and they had regular makeup classes even during the holidays. Today happened to be one of those days. Yao Yefeng went to the kitchen to cook, while the three of them sat in the living room. Fang, I won't beat around the bush. Neither I nor your aunt oppose you being with Xinyu, but we have only one condition. Treat her well and don't let her suffer. Can you do that? Gogh got straight to the point. Isn't this the kind of conversation that usually happens after dinner when everyone's full and satisfied? Fang Jueyu thought to himself. This future father-in-law seemed to be a bit unconventional. Absolutely, rest assured. Fang Jueyu firmly promised, if I ever treat Xinyu poorly, you can use a stick on me. Ha, now I'm relieved, Gogh laughed heartily. Once the important discussion was over, the atmosphere became less formal and more like an ordinary chat. Gogh enjoyed talking about military and politics, subjects Jueyu was able to engage in. Strange, Xiao you should be back by now. Why isn't he here? Yao Yefeng had already finished preparing lunch and noticed it was already 11:30. Did he get caught up playing with his classmates? Gogh Xinyu wondered. To avoid distractions, they hadn't given Gogh Junyu a phone, but he had a smartwatch for communication. Still, there was no answer, only a busy signal on the other end. The family was immediately worried. This was not a good sign. Don't panic yet, maybe his watch ran out of battery. Fang Jueyu tried to calm them down. Auntie, why don't you call his teacher? Right, call the teacher first. Yao Yefeng quickly dialed the teacher's number. The teacher informed her that the school's extra classes ended early today, before 11 o'clock, so Gogh Junyu should have already been home. How could this happen? Unable to reach Gogh Junyu by any means, even Fang Jueyu started to panic. Let's go search along his route from school. Maybe someone saw him. Fang Jueyu quickly stood up. Should we call the police? Yao Yefeng seemed disoriented. Let's not jump to conclusions. Maybe he's just been delayed by something on the way, Gogh said, trying to stay calm. Let's look for him first. If we really can't find him, then we'll involve the police. Regardless, this meal was now impossible to enjoy. Still no news. The four of them had split up to search for half an hour, practically turning the whole street upside down. No, and the people at the nearby convenience store also said they haven't seen Xiaoyu. Yao Yefeng was almost in tears. If it had been only half an hour, maybe he was just playing with friends, but now it had been over an hour. There was a high chance something had happened. This is troublesome. Fang Jueyu comforted Gogh Xinyu while deep in thought. Suddenly, he noticed the cameras near the traffic lights. In a city like Jiangnan City, shouldn't there be hidden cameras all over the street? Xiaoyu, can you help me track Xiaoyu's whereabouts? Fang Jueyu knew that, for now, only Xiaoyu could help him. I'll give it a try. Xiaoyu didn't provide an exact answer either. Its data flow could penetrate almost anywhere on Earth, but cameras always had blind spots, and it couldn't guarantee it would find any trace of Gogh Junyu. Host, I found it. A few minutes later, Xiaoyu finally delivered some uplifting news. What exactly happened? Fang Jueyu asked impatiently. He might be in danger. Xiaoyu retrieved the footage from that time. Gogh Junyu had indeed left school around 11, but when he reached the intersection in front, suddenly a small van sped past, grabbing him directly into the vehicle with expertise only a well-trained gang could muster. Damn it, how did this happen? Fang Jueyu frowned. The road surveillance showed that the vehicle headed west and was now outside Jiangnan City, but after that there was no trace of the vehicle, indicating it had likely reached an area without surveillance. What should we do? Should we tell them? There were still many gangs conducting illegal activities. As for what would happen next, it was almost predictably bad news if they didn't retrieve the person timely. Uncle, Auntie, Xinyu, you all head home first, I'll handle this. Fang Jueyu thought for a moment and decided it was best not to let them worry. Little Fang, what should we do now? Yao Yefeng became distraught and started crying instantly. Her husband had just recovered, and now Gogh Junyu was missing, as if heaven was playing a cruel joke on her. Auntie, please calm down, it's not that bad yet. I'll use my connections to try to find him. In the meantime, you should report it to the police. Fang Jueyu tried his best to console Yao Yefeng. But, Yefeng, calm down. Right now we have to trust little Fang. Gogh, although equally anxious, was more rational, and he knew Fang Juyu's approach was the best solution for now. Xinyu, take care of Auntie. Wait for my news. Fang Jueyu got in the car and headed off quickly in the direction of Jiangnan City's west side. Zhao, what's in the west of Jiangnan City? Fang Jueyu asked. He had a hunch that the vehicle might still be at the boundary of two cities. Otherwise, Zhao should have been able to track it down in the surrounding cities. With its capabilities, it should quickly filter through such a large data volume. There is a farm and some factories there. Zhao quickly pulled up a map. I've checked those places and haven't found trace of the vehicle. Can you connect to satellites? Fang Jueyu asked. Since Zhao could infiltrate so much, connecting to satellites shouldn't be too difficult, right? Yes, but most of your human technology satellites do not have such high resolution, and I cannot capture that vehicle precisely. Damn it! Fang Jueyu pounded the steering wheel out of frustration, finding himself useless for finding a person despite having an overwhelmingly powerful plug-in attached to him. Wait, host, there's an area with some abandoned warehouses there. Zhao suddenly discovered something new. It was originally for storing steel. Over a year ago, the factory moved, and the old site was left unattended and became desolate. Could Zhao have been taken there? Guessed Fang Jueyu. No matter, let's go check it out first. Fang Jueyu pressed down on the gas pedal, driving as fast as possible in that direction. Host, rushing over like this might not guarantee a successful rescue. Shouldn't I get you some help? Zhao suggested. Fang Jueyu's body had been strengthened, true, capable of handling several average people, but obviously the other side was a gang, and his strength alone might not suffice. He could even risk being caught himself. Help, Fang Jueyu considered. No, there's no time. Where would I find help on such short notice? Don't worry about that. The help I find for you can flatten that gang even if it's an army. Yeah, Fang Jueyu suddenly remembered. Zhao once mentioned a stepmother managing the world's most powerful superpower user organization. Even if they weren't as formidable as his parents, they shouldn't be too bad, right? Can it be done in time? Fang Jueyu asked. Of course, if necessary, they can appear by your side within a minute. Really? Fang Jueyu was skeptical. If I'm lying to you, I'm under your command. Zhao responded. Wait, let me get someone for you. I'll trust you this once. Fang Jueyu grew increasingly anxious. An hour was enough for many things to happen, and he couldn't take risks with others. Safety even if his car performed well. He had to maintain the allowed maximum speed, and at this moment he wished he were flying a plane. Host, he's here. Zhao's voice returned just 10 seconds later. Just as Zhao spoke, a figure dressed in black appeared ghost-like beside him. Fang Jueyu shivered, almost losing his grip on the steering wheel, but he managed to regain control just in time. Who are you? Fang Jueyu's voice trembled. Could this be the legendary superpower user? He sneaked a look over. It seemed like someone in their 30s, with short hair, a cold expression, unclear if naturally mysterious or if it was just their disposition. Young master, my name is Gogh. I am your guardian in Jiangnan City, the man spoke mildly. Did my father arrange this? Fang Jueyu asked. Why have I never met you? Yes, it was Mr. Fang Jueyu's arrangement. I've always been by your side, just undetectable to you, Gogh explained. Host, Gogh's ancestors were generals in the Warring States period, almost executed unjustly by corrupt officials. It was your ancestors who saved them, and since then, the Gogh family has followed the Fang family through generations, Zhao explained. Is he powerful? Fang Jueyu secretly inquired. Not bad. The Gogh family gained secrets in human potential development. Not as strong as your parents, but still able to take down a regular military unit with ease. That's strong, Fang Jueyu was astonished. Gogh didn't appear particularly extraordinary. No matter, my dad wouldn't deceive me. Fang Jueyu decided to trust Zhao. Right now, nothing was more important than Guo Junyu's safety. Gogh, come with me to save someone. Fang Jueyu recklessly increased the throttle, ignoring everything else at this moment. Under Fang Jueyu's frantic acceleration, a journey that usually took an hour was completed in less than 40 minutes. Fortunately, it wasn't rush hour, so the roads weren't too congested. With his skilled driving and remarkable reflexes, he managed to make it through unscathed. However, under the watchful eyes of the road surveillance, this incident didn't escape the traffic department's notice. They even thought it was some rich kid recklessly speeding and immediately dispatched officers to track down a vehicle. Damn, why are there traffic cops here now? Just as he was about to leave Jiangnan City, a checkpoint had already been set up at the exit. The staff here had already received word to intercept Fang Jueyu's car. Sir, according to our surveillance, we found that you were severely speeding. Please get out of the car and cooperate for a check, the lead traffic cop said to Fang Jueyu, perhaps suspecting he was driving under the influence. "Sorry, I have an emergency." Fang Jueyu didn't have time to be delayed here. "My girlfriend's brother was taken away by a car. I chased all the way here, and because I was too anxious, I drove a bit too fast." "That won't do. Your actions are putting your own safety and others' safety at risk. Have you reported it to the police?" The traffic cop seemed to notice Fang Juyu's urgency. "Not yet. The child has only been missing for a little over an hour. It doesn't meet the criteria for an investigation. Sir, whatever penalty you give, I will accept. Anyway, you've recorded my license plate. I can't escape. Just let me go find him first," Fang Jueyu pleaded. "No way. Even if what you're saying is true, rules are rules. Please get out of the car for inspection and penalties. The law is without mercy, and this is not wrong," the traffic cop added. "We can help you report it. If the situation is true, they should help you find him quickly. By then it will be too late." Fang Jueyu became increasingly anxious, his gaze turning to Gogh as if seeking his help. "Young master, I can hypnotize them for you. Do you need me to do this?" Gogh's mouth didn't move, but the voice seemed to directly reach his ear. "No, if something like that happens, things will only get more complicated." Fang Jueyu knew that if Gogh really did that, it would be a huge hassle to deal with the aftermath. "Xiaoyi, do you have any other methods?" Fang Jueyu asked. "You can ask that girl named Zhuang Ying. She should be able to connect you to some people," Xiaoyi said. "Right, since their family has been around for so long, they must have more than just wealth. Their connections must be widespread too, right? Sister Ying, Xinyu's brother, is in trouble." "What? You already know." Okay, I am now blocked by traffic cops at the exit due to speeding. I suspect Xiaoyu is in a factory outside Jiangnan City." Sure enough, Zhuang Ying's information was very up-to-date. Although she never leaves home, it seems like nothing escapes her eyes. Moments later, the traffic cop's communicator buzzed. Fang Jueyu only heard the deep voice of a middle-aged man from the other side, and then the cop turned to him with a strange look in his eyes. "Let him pass." Unexpectedly, the cop directly had the checkpoint removed. "Captain, the traffic policemen were puzzled. "It's an order from the bureau, the city bureau, not the district bureau." Though reluctant, they had to follow the orders. "Thank you. After this is over, I will come back to accept the penalties," said Fang Jueyu, knowing it was his connections that worked. He quickly floored the gas and left the highway exit. Wild grasses covered the outskirts, with only a relatively new road, flanked by farmland and factories. Such places are rare these days. Perhaps they were more common 10 or 20 years ago, but these areas are slated for urbanization next year. A gray van was parked outside a deserted warehouse near the farmland. A few people huddled together smoking. Surprisingly, among them were not only Huaxia people, but also some with Western appearances. They didn't dress ragged like human traffickers, but wore matching uniforms, looking more like members of an organization. "Business is getting harder these days," one of the Huaxia men sighed. "What can you do? Public security in Huaxia is getting better. There aren't many opportunities left. It's better in neighboring countries, where a few missing people a day go unnoticed. Members there live more comfortably. Last time the division even scolded us, asking why the number of test subjects we provide has decreased. But what can we do? If they have the guts, they should come to Huaxia and grab test subjects themselves." "Keep your voice down," another hurriedly hushed him. "You know the division people are coming today. If they hear you, you'll be in trouble." "It's not like they're here yet. I'm just complaining." Screech. With a screech of brakes, a shiny new Bentley stopped in front of the warehouse, instantly drawing everyone's attention. Who would come to such a desolate place at this time? A young man, around 20 years old, and a middle-aged man who seemed wooden, stepped out of the car, heading straight for the warehouse. "Who are you? What do you want?" The group immediately blocked their path. Fang Jueyu initially assumed they were just ordinary human traffickers, but it didn't seem that way. What kind of traffickers would wear matching uniforms? This was clearly some organized gang. Out of the corner of his eye, he noticed the gray van, and immediately his face turned grim. His first time meeting Guo Xinyu's parents, which should have been a happy day, was ruined by these bastards. That something so dramatic could happen to him was either too unfortunate or too lucky. "Where's the kid you took?" With Gogh behind him, Fang Jueyu felt confident despite facing 5 or 6 hefty thugs. Damn, they're here for someone. They had been in this line of work long enough to know that being pursued wasn't new, but to be caught within an hour by family was unusual. Have they been exposed already? "What do we do?" the foreigner asked. Deal with them. Haven't we handled it like this before? Quickly, several dark gun barrels were aimed at Fang Jueyu's head. Just two of you dare to come after us. You sure have guts. Guns, Fang Jueyu froze. Gogh. Leave it to me, young master. Gogh calmly walked forward, seemingly unbothered by the armed men in front of him. Bang, bang, bang. Without hesitation, the group pulled their triggers simultaneously at Gogh. An eerie scene unfolded, as the bullets all stopped less than half a meter before Gogh, as if they had hit an invisible, impenetrable wall. How is that possible? The group was dumbfounded by the sight. Was this a science fiction movie? Were they still dreaming? Ha, scared now. Fang Jueyu had seen this scene in Xiaoya's records, where his father, Fang Jueyu, had similarly terrified a group of mercenaries and superpower users on his parents' day. Although seeing it reappear was shocking, it didn't leave him speechless. How dare you kidnap my girlfriend's brother? Let me tell you, in my family, we have 99 more as powerful as him. You're seeking death. One of them aimed his gun at Fang Jueyu, and a heated bullet roared toward his chest. Instinctively, Fang Jueyu shut his eyes tight. His physical condition was quite strong, but not strong enough to dodge bullets like Gogh. However, several seconds passed the gunshot, and Fang Jueyu opened his eyes slightly. The bullet dangled midair, unmoving. He reached out to touch it. The brass bullet still emitted a high temperature, burning a blister on his fingertip. Ouch, he quickly retracted his finger. Gogh, take care of them quickly. Sure. Gogh remained laconic, vanishing like a ghost from Fang Jueyu's side. Moments later, the entire group fell to the ground as if knocked out by some force. All done, young master. Gogh reappeared behind him. You, Fang Jueyu stammered, lacking words to express himself, finally uttering a universal huaxia exclamation. Awesome. Hurry, find the people. Fang Jueyu rushed into the warehouse. Inside, the warehouse was nearly empty. In a small room made with temporary wooden boards, he found the unconscious Gogh Junyu, along with 3 other kids of similar age, 2 boys and a girl. Xiaoyu. Fang Jueyu shook him, but he didn't respond. Master, he seems to have inhaled some chemical. It shouldn't be a big problem, just needs hospital care or use biological current to wake him up for better results. Gogh, they seem unconscious. Can you wake them up? Fang Jueyu recalled how using the biological current once almost exhausted him completely, and he doubted he could wake several unconscious kids without collapsing. Luckily, with Gogh here, this small affair should be a piece of cake for him, right? Well, young master, my biological current is a bit different from the ordinary. It might cause irreversible harm to them. If that's the case, then forget it. Better to have them treated at the hospital. It'd be troublesome if they wake up crying for their parents. He immediately called Gogh Junyu to assure her. Hearing the news, Yao Yefeng, who was on the verge of breaking down, burst into tears, while Gogh Shu let out a long sigh of relief. It's a bit complicated. There are other kids here too. I'll handle this and you can come to the hospital later, Fang Jueyu instructed.